One of the themes running through the actions on this economy coming out of the White House so far is of racial justice and economic equity.
Oh, here we go. Hello and welcome to The Ordeal. If you are new to my channel, I challenge all things woke. Please go down to the bottom of the video and click the red button, leave a comment, click the like button. Please watch the video to the very end. That's very important for beating YouTube's algorithm. That's the main thing that YouTube looks at, is how long you watch my video. If you don't like my video and you're like, I got to get out of here, please leave a comment. Let me know what I can do to improve. I don't make any money off these videos. They're all for you. So I'm here to serve you guys. Let me know what I can do to make them better. Anyway, this is NPR's Marketplace, and they're going to be discussing Joe Biden's new racial equity laws. Let's listen in.
It's an acknowledgement that racism is systemic in this economy, and it's an attempt to use the powers of the federal government to do something about it. Marketplace's Kimberly Adams is on that story.
President Biden has asked all the executive agencies to do some introspection to see if what the federal government is doing is reducing economic inequality or perpetuating it.
Well, I can guarantee you that it's perpetuating economic inequality, but it's not based on the color of a person's skin. It is based on income. It is rich versus poor in this country. There's a book called How to Live a Tax-Free Life, I believe. It's all about how you can use the tax system to reduce your taxes, because the system in America is set up to give bonuses to the people who make the most money.
We have a number of laws that have intentionally or unintentionally excluded entire communities.
Jessica Fulton is vice.
Do you have any examples of those laws, Jessica Fulton? I mean, you just said there's a bunch of laws. What are those laws? Maybe there's some. I wouldn't doubt that there's some. You're probably going to bring up redlining. Redlining is a law, but we've already looked at redlining, and redlining is, it's based on income, not on the color of your skin.
At the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies.
And a lot of those policies are still on the books. Our agencies are still enforcing them, and we have not yet done the work to...
Agencies enforcing laws which are discriminatory is illegal. It's been illegal for 55 years now.
Identify those policies and rectify them.
That will take some honesty about the role active racism has historically played in policy development.
One example of that is the New Deal, which created the white middle class in America.
Okay, so what created the black middle class in America? I mean, there is a black middle class. I know there is. I have proof, at least in two people that I work with. My boss and my office mate are both black, and they're both middle class. What about the Hispanic middle class? There's a Hispanic middle class in America. I have two coworkers that make over $60,000 a year, just in my department, that are Hispanic. What about the Asian middle class? What is it that makes the middle class for other people? It's not the New Deal, apparently. Apparently that only worked for white people, right? It didn't work for anybody else. No references are going to be given here. This is just discrimination.
Gary Cunningham is president and CEO of the advocacy group Prosperity Now. He said,
So this is a picture of Gary Cunningham. He looks really oppressed, doesn't he?
Any of the programs in the initiative?
At the time that the New Deal was created, if you were African American, you couldn't participate.
You couldn't? What do you mean you couldn't? What couldn't you participate in the New Deal? You're just going to throw these things out there like they don't exist. And yet, the fact of the matter is, there is a black middle class in the United States. Millions of black people comprise the black middle class in the United States. How do you explain that? It was the New Deal, so what did they do? They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps?
The Biden administration's emphasis on reviewing housing policy through a racial equity lens, says Jesse Van Tall, who runs the National Community Reinvestment Coalition.
The legacy of, yes, the compounded effects of individual acts of racism, but are more systemic in their nature and in their cure.
He says executive actions are a first step in addressing the legacy, but points out meaningful change will need to include Congress along with everyone else.
At the state and local level, it has to be confronted as part of a conversation about race in America.
What role the government has played in creating inequality, and what, if anything, it should do about it.
All right, so Jesse Van Tall's organization here, the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, has already put $192.2 billion into new investments in low and moderate income communities without any kind of legislation. They just did it. But yet the first step, of course, is always getting legislation involved. We should legislate that this money goes to low and moderate income communities. What? You're giving these people money to make their communities better. And by the way, $200 billion? Where has that money actually gone? You give this money to these people to make their communities better, supposedly, which you haven't done because $200 billion would pretty much fix the problem. It's not going to where it needs to go in those communities. It's obviously not. It's not going to make a difference to legislate this. It's going to make things worse. If you legislate that we have to give to different communities, we have to actually take away from other communities. If you do that, what's going to be the end result? The end result is going to be that white people suffer from this because they want to target whites, and they're not going to see this result play out as white people being made equal with non-whites. So they're going to have to do something about it. And what they're going to do is I'm predicting this right now. In 3.5 years, you're going to start seeing laws popping up that actually try to overturn the Civil Rights Act, that actually try to target whites specifically, because you're not going to get equality by taking financial action against white people. It doesn't work that way. The rich already know how to play the game so that they can keep their money. They already know where to put their money so that they keep their money. It's not that difficult. When you have that much money, you can just go like, okay, well, how do I hang on to this money? And then you can talk to accountants and find out how to keep the money. Anyway, this is ridiculous. It's just discrimination against whites, and it's going to lead to greater discrimination in this country. We got to stop pointing the finger at white people and saying, hey, look, we need to make these people less wealthy, or need to lower their standard of living somehow to make them equal with the rest of the people in the country. Whereas the better option is to say, hey, look, why don't we teach these other people here who don't have as much as this other group to get to where that other group is. That's pretty much all I got for this time. I'm going to be making shorter videos. I'm going to try to make shorter videos. And I'm probably not going to be making videos for a few weeks. If you're one of the 3 people who watches my videos on a regular basis, thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Always appreciate you watching my videos. But my day job has become very busy. They have given me more students than I've ever had, and I have a new class as well that I've never taught before. So I'm going to be busy dealing with that for at least a few weeks. But I will have something up no later than March. And I should probably be able to get something up sooner than that, but I'm not sure. So I wanted to put that out there. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.